Welcome back, focused learners. Let's just dive right into it, shall we? Today, we are exploring the absolute foundations of commerce and business. We're looking at the core structures that actually make our economic world turn. Straight from Chapter 1, Lecture 5 of your Organization of Commerce and Management text. If you've ever wondered how the different ways we work actually compare on a structural level, you are definitely in the right place. I want you to pause for a second and just imagine your future. When you finally step out into the world, how do you actually want to make a living? What we're about to cover right now aren't just dry textbook definitions. These are the active, real-world choices you're going to make about your own livelihood. Literally every economic activity you see around you stems from one of these choices.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. 1. 3 paths of work. 2. Comparing risk, rules, and returns. 3. The goals of a business. 4. Profits and new customers. 5. Innovation, quality, and ethics. And 6. A quick review.
All right, Section 1, 3 paths of work. So, broadly speaking, all the economic activities you see happening every single day fall into 3 distinct paths. We've got business, profession, and employment. To make this super concrete, let's anchor these concepts with some real-world examples right out of the text. When we talk about business, think of a builder, a grocer, maybe a local supermarket. When we say profession, picture a doctor, a chartered accountant, or a lawyer. And for employment, imagine a clerk, a teacher, or an office worker. Just keep those 3 personas in your head as we move forward. Moving on to Section 2, comparing risk, rules, and returns. Now, what's really fascinating about this comparison matrix is how clearly it contrasts the main motivation and financial reward for each path. Look at business. The primary aim is simply to earn profit, and that profit is the monetary return. A profession, on the other hand, is driven by providing expert services, and in return, the professional earns fees. Employment is driven by the goal of earning wages, resulting in a fixed salary. Profit, fees, and salary. These are your 3 distinct financial engines. But, grabbing those rewards requires totally different setups. Let's walk through the qualifications and decision-making power. For a business owner, there's literally no minimum prescribed qualification. You can just start up. And because of that, you make decisions completely independently and freely. A professional, like our doctor, requires highly expert knowledge and specific training, which allows them to make expert decisions in their field. Meanwhile, an employee has their qualifications decided entirely by their employer, and consequently, they really have no power to take independent business decisions. And that actually brings us to a huge trade-off, the direct link between freedom and risk. The business owner, like the builder or the grocer, has ultimate freedom but faces really high risk because profit is absolutely never guaranteed. It is totally uncertain. The professional faces moderate risk since their fees generally aren't totally certain or perfectly regular either. But the employee, like our clerk or teacher, takes on no risk. Why? Well, because their salary is fixed and regular. So if we strip it all the way down to the absolute extremes, we have business versus employment. Guys, this is a crucial concept to commit to memory for your exams. Business equals high risk with uncertain returns, while employment equals 0 risk with a fixed, regular salary. Essentially, you trade freedom for security or security for freedom. All right, that gives us a really solid lay of the land for all 3 paths, but I want to pivot our focus now and zero in purely on the business path. If an entrepreneur accepts that high risk, we know they want profit. But beyond just making money, what is a business actually trying to achieve in the grand scheme of things? Which brings us to Section 3, the goals of a business. Before we list them out, we've got to define our terms. Listen up, because this is a massive board exam important definition that you absolutely need to have memorized. Business objectives are the goals or aims that a business tries to achieve while carrying out its activities. It's simple, it's clear, and it's foundational. So what are they? Well, these core objectives sit on 5 main pillars. 1. Earning profits. 2. Creation of customers. 3. Innovations. 4. Supplying quality products. And 5. Avoiding unfair trade practices. These 5 pillars form the entire foundation of a successful enterprise. Let's break those down, starting with Section 4, profits and new customers. Objective number 1 is, no surprise here, earning profits. But here's the thing, it's totally crucial to understand that profit isn't just about an owner getting rich. According to our text, profit is the vital fuel required for the business to continue, grow, and expand. Without it, the business simply ceases to exist. It is quite literally the lifeblood of the whole operation. But how do you actually generate that profit? Well, that brings us to objective 2, creation of customers. This is a step-by-step process. A business must first attract new buyers. Then it has to provide them with genuinely useful goods and services. And crucially, it has to keep those existing customers satisfied. You don't just find a customer once, you create a relationship that lasts. Let's look at the long game in Section 5, Innovation, Quality, and Ethics. To keep a business alive in the long run, you absolutely need Objective 3, which is innovation. Go ahead and flag this as another crucial board exam important definition. Innovation means introducing new ideas, new products, or better methods in business to improve its performance. It's all about not getting stagnant, right? Because if a business isn't improving its methods or bringing in fresh ideas, a competitor eventually will. Next up, Objective 4, supplying quality products. And honestly, this brilliantly shows how all these goals are tied together. Supplying quality isn't just a nice thing to do. It actively satisfies your customers, builds deep trust, and directly increases your sales. So maintaining quality loops right back around to achieving that very first objective we talked about, earning profits. Rounding out our top 5 is avoiding unfair trade practices. Basically, the ethical backbone of the business. A business must conduct its activities honestly and fairly. Avoiding unfair practices isn't just about avoiding a lawsuit. It ensures long-term, honest operations and protects the trust that your quality products and good customer service worked so hard to build. All right, let's wrap this up with Section 6, quick review of key concepts. We have covered a ton of ground today, so let's do a rapid-fire review. Picture this, you're sitting in the exam hall, clock is ticking, and you see this classic 2-mark board question, state any 2 objectives of business. Think about it for a second. Got it? You could simply write 1, earning profits, and 2, creation of customers. Boom, full marks. Okay, let's try one more 2-mark question. State 2 differences between business and profession. Think back to our anchor examples from earlier, the builder and the doctor. You'd write, first, business earns profit, whereas profession earns fees. Second, business does not require minimum qualifications, whereas a profession requires expert knowledge and training. Nailed it. You are now officially equipped with the fundamental mechanics of commerce. So I'm going to leave you with this. Knowing the distinct risks and the rewards we mapped out today, which economic path will you eventually choose? And if you do choose business, what will be your ultimate objective? Hold on to those thoughts because in our next explainer covering Lecture 6, we're going to dive into the second part of business objectives, exploring employment generation, solving social problems, and the wider welfare of society. See you then.